Hello, hello, and a very warm welcome to my live. Just giving it a moment to confirm that we are actually live. Because this is in the corner, I'm live. I've just frozen and it says live video is starting. So, saying we're live. Right. Just checking the comments are working. Hello, and a very warm welcome to my live. How are we all doing? Oh, very warm. Welcome to July and Transformation Tuesday. Yeah, new month, new beginnings, new starts. How are we all doing? First, reflect back on June. How did June go? Did you do any reflections? Did you do any actions or an action of non-action? Are you still stagnating? Are you still just going, don't know, whatever, and then still whinging and moaning and everything like that? Now, I did a post yesterday to say that I did something out of my comfort zone. I went live on TikTok. Ooh, I know, something completely different. I was slightly challenged by my business manager because I was saying that Facebook is a little bit at the moment, and people seem to be a lot more active watching things on TikTok and on Instagram. And I have been posting a few things on TikTok, and I've been getting a few little things. And what I thought is that I saw a thing and it said 10k in 10 days. Gosh, wouldn't that be lovely to get £10,000 in 10 days? Oh my gosh. Should we try and do that? A challenge of 10k in 10 days. Now, if that sounds a little bit too much, maybe 1k in 10 days. Hey, what a challenge to that. And when you first think, you go, oh my gosh, how can we do that? And it's like very interesting. Things. But she says, to utilise other things. This is a person I follow on TikTok. And I was looking at it and I was saying to my business manager, we doing live yet there? And I went, no. So she said, well, I challenge you this week. And I said, well, I think I'll go on Wednesday when it's Fairy Wednesday. Then at least when I go live, I've got something to talk about. Not that I never have anything to talk about. If anyone knows me, I can talk like that. And I thought, right, well, first of all, I'll just sort of get it up on my laptop and see how it goes. And I was messing around with it, and I sort of thought, oh, this is live, and press live, just thinking, well, stupidly. And I suddenly just got, I was live, and it was like, oh, I'm live. And off I went. So inadvertently, I went live on Monday, not Fairy Wednesday, but it was a good practice run. And I started talking about choice and responsibility. And these sort of go in hand. When we perceive things as going wrong, when you stand up and take responsibility for it and says, yeah, I did it, and that's good, and that's owning yourself and knowing you're worthy. But when you start blaming someone else, it's your fault this happened, or it's your fault we did this, and half the time we realise actually we had a choice to do these certain things and to take responsibility, to stop blaming other people for your choices. Now, people say, what do you mean about choices? Well, you choose every morning what time to set your alarm. You have a choice whether to set it at 7 o'clock or 1 minute before 7 or 1 minute past 7. You've got a choice to set it at 7:30. You've got a choice at 6:30. You have a choice of whether, when you get up, whether you're going to have a cup of tea, whether you have a cup of coffee. You've got a choice whether you're going to have a milkshake, whether a glass of alcohol. You have a choice. You have a choice whether you're going to eat breakfast and whether that breakfast is going to be toast or cereal or fruit. You have a choice all the day. And when you set off, you've chosen to go to your job, you have a choice. You're going to choose, you're going to go by car or public transport. And when you go by your car, you can choose to go down this road and that road and the other road and things like that. And when you get to work, you can choose to whatever. And so every morning, every moment of your time, you are choosing. And if you choose and it goes what you perceive is wrong, is you've got to take responsibility. Like, well, they're saying you're constantly late at work. Well, maybe it's because you're choosing not to put your alarm early enough. And if you're constantly 10 minutes late for work, maybe you need to choose and look at your day and say, why? Well, maybe you need to set your alarm 10 minutes earlier. Choose to set that alarm earlier, 10 minutes, which means your whole morning routine, which is going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be 10 minutes earlier, and you're going to get to work on time. It's a choice. But why are you choosing to constantly be late? And when you go, oh, it's the traffic, it's this, well, maybe you need to choose a different route to go in, a different way of going in, or maybe you need to get up even earlier and get an earlier train or something, or say to your boss, well, I'm sorry, I have to drop the kids off at school, so I need to choose that maybe I can change my start day time 15 minutes later, and then I finish 15 minutes later. And you've got a choice to talk to your boss. And when people go, oh, I don't like my job, you chose to apply for that job you're in. You chose to fill in the application. You chose to send it off. You chose, if they offered you an interview, you chose to go to that interview. And then if they offered you the job, you chose to take it. You could choose not to go to the interview. You could go, well, actually, no, I don't want to go to the interview. Or you could choose and go, well, thank you for the offer of the job, but I don't want it. But you chose to do the job. And then when you get there and you're doing the job, and if it's not how you want, you are choosing to complain, or you're choosing to say something to someone and go, look, boss, But it's all choice, choice, choice. And when you start saying, well, it's this, and you're putting an obstacle on because you're not taking responsibility. And this is what's so important. And this is why people complain about, oh, my life is this, it's like this and that. And then they're choosing to complain about it. And then it's like, I've never got any money. But when you look at your monthly, and I say this to people who say, I haven't got any money and this, that. And I always say, look after your pennies, your pounds look after themselves. Have a look and see. And I say to people, well, where has your money gone? And they go, well, I don't know. And it's like, well, take responsibility and look at your bank account over the last 3 months. And each month for, where we're June, so April, look at your bank account on April and see where all your money went. See how much came in and see how much went out. Yes, you will have a regular income, but then just see, it's like, yeah, I had to pay my gas, electricity, my rental, my mortgage, and this and the car. But then where about the other stuff? Because when you suddenly start doing that, and then you suddenly realise where your money is, and then you're taking responsibility, and you look at April, and then again at May, and then at June. And then you start being responsible and you go, well, actually, no wonder I've got no money because I'm spending so much on takeaway. Hi, Lyndon. Or I'm spending so much on yet another pair of shoes, and take responsibility. And then when it's like, well, actually, you do have the money, but you are choosing how to spend it. You are choosing where you're allocating your money. You are choosing to put your money over on your rent, which is an investment in your life. So I think when I pay my rent, I go, thank you, because it's an investment for a roof over my head. When I pay my gas and electricity, I say thank you, because they've given it to me to use, and I go, right, thank you. And I'm thankful to the gas and electricity. Same with the water, you use it and then you pay for it. I'm not whinging about it. And if I can't afford it, then I've got to make sure, I cut back on my water and my electricity and my gas. It's my choice. I choose where I spend my money when I go food shopping. I choose whether I'm going to go to Lidl or Aldi or Waitrose or Harrods. I've got a choice. Waitrose, wherever you want to go, it's a choice. And I've got a choice on how I spend my money, whether I'm going to buy baked beans or whatever, fruit or veg or whatever I've got. Again, it's a choice. This has been me the last few weeks. And you've got to take the choice. And when you take responsibility, so when people say to me, oh, it's at night I sit and eat the chocolate bars, and then I say, who does the shopping? And they go, I do. I said, well, why are you buying the chocolate bars? Because if you're buying the chocolate and then you're sitting there and complaining about it, well, don't buy the chocolate, then you can't eat it. And what I do is, instead of buying the chocolate, we buy I know it's expensive. Well, it's not expensive. We buy fruit, and so we're hungry. Go and eat the raspberries, the strawberries or raspberries at night instead of the chocolate. And if you don't buy the chocolate, you can't eat it. If you don't buy the crisps, you can't eat it. If you don't buy the alcohol, you can't drink it. If you don't buy the cigarettes, you can't smoke it. But it's taking responsibility. So when you're sort of saying, oh, I'm fat and it's all your fault, whose fault? It's because you're choosing, even though people are buying the food and you go, well, actually, it's my partner does the food. Well, you can choose and tell your partner, please stop buying the chocolate. Or when you buy a chocolate, can you buy me strawberries? Got the choice. And if they're not doing it, well, then you take the action and go, right, well, I'm going to buy my healthy food. I don't want the other things. But it's all down to choice and taking responsibility. And when you start taking responsibility, you suddenly get control of your life, and your life doesn't stick in the elephant manure, because you're suddenly realizing that actually all my choices I have made in my whole life, and I'm going to say from the age of 18, because up until the age of 18 you're a child, so I'm saying from the age of 18 upwards, every choice you have made, you've had the choice. But some of us didn't realise. I didn't realise. Or, you know, you think, oh, you know, when you're 18, 19, I don't know if your parents told, especially when I'm 60 now. So when I was growing up, in those days, what your parents told you to do, you did it. My dad, you know, I got one going to job, you're going to work in the bank, because nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that my friend, the bank manager, you're working there Monday morning. It happened in those days. I'm going back 40, 50 years now. And that's how jobs happened. And you just sort of went, that's what's going on. Sorry, it's getting dark because the door's just opened. It's the wind. So, but it's all down to choice and taking responsibility. And if you don't like the place you're living in, and yes, you're stuck there maybe, but maybe it's time to start going, well, actually, I don't like this. What can I do? And when people say, oh, I've got not enough money, I say to them, well, when you've done your bank balance from April, May, June, you see where you've frittered it away, because you say, well, I only have a certain amount of money coming in. Well, there's lots of ways of coming in. You millionaires have seven forms of income or more, 7 or more forms of income. How many forms of income have you got? And people look at me and go, what do you mean? And they go, well, I've got my job. I go, well, that's one form of income. And because if that's the only amount of money and the one way of money coming into you, then you're restricted. But this is why millionaires have got more than one form of income. But they didn't start with 7. They started with 1. They started with another. Hi, Anne. Hi, Lyndon. Hi, Julie. And what they did is they started one, and then they said, right, I'll get another form of income. So it could be your second form of income is a savings account. And that way of income coming will be the interest on your savings account. Now, you may think it's not much at the moment, but over the time of years, if you keep putting money in it, money, and the interest will get bigger and bigger, that's a form of income. What's another form of income? Well, if you look around your house and you've got stuff, maybe, like my son, he does car booting as a separate form. That's going to really irritate me. Sorry. I'm not in my lounge. The lounge has been taken over by Wimbledon, where I normally come live. Wimbledon is on the telly. They're watching a match and we're waiting for it to come on. And so I'm in a different room. And the window's opening. It's making the cupboard door open. Okay. So, and he does car booting. And he loves it. And I love car booting, except I usually spend. But that's a way you can do that. And you can become a regular car booter. But what my son used to do, and he still does, he goes around, and he did this when he was a child, and I've spoken about this before, and he used to go off, and so this is like 30 years now, so we're talking about 25 years ago, and he used to go, give me some money, Mum, so I would give him like a £5 or whatever, and he'd disappear thinking, oh, he's going to buy some crap, and he'd go off, and he'd negotiate, and go on there, and he'd do his little voice, and he'd come back with something, and then I go, what's that for? He goes, and then he'd try to sell it and make a profit. Little entrepreneur. And that would be how he'd make his pocket money. So there's lots of, we've got people who does vintage, who does eBay, who does Etsy. So if you're looking for different forms, because if you've only got one form of income, you're stuck. with that one amount. And if you want to start doing it, so then, and it's like, well, you know, it's all right for these multimillionaires. They've got houses, they buy houses and they rent them out. That's another form of income. But you've got to build your way up. And when they go, well, you know, 1 month, you know, 1 week you can make £100, another week you make another 100 or 120, another week you're at the car booting, all those indoor jumble sales. Now I've got a friend, well, she used to do this many years ago, and she used to organise jumble sales during the winter. Yeah, car boot. Well, she'd go to car boots in the summer, but when the winter months come, she would organise jumble sales and put them on and get some friends doing, and made a little income from that. And have jumble sales. 1 week it'd be in one village hall, next week it'd be in another village hall, and she had a little business organising jumble sales, and that was a little extra income. You've got people who do Avon, who does the Body Shop, who does, you know, I know MLM, yes or no, that's another form of income. So when you suddenly realise you've got these incomes, I mean, I have, when people say to me, where's my income coming from, and I'm not going to say how much I make, but I've got income from my readings, income from my mentoring, I've got income from my Reiki Teddy, I've got income from my books and my journals that I sell on Amazon. So that's another. So let's start. I've got my book, my readings, I have my mentoring, I've got Reiki Teddy, I've got my books on Amazon. Well, what else have I got? I lost track. So that's four incomes from there. So that's Amazon. What else have I got? So that's what. Got my savings accounts. I've got 5 incomes coming in. Oh, 6. I got music that is available to download on Apple and the other Apple and wherever it is. So I've got music coming down. So that's 6 streams of income I've got already. So each month I've got a little bit coming in here, and if you've got like £20 here and £50 there and £70 there, it soon mounts up. But it's these little incomes, and then what you do is I have all this little income, and it's like you've got your main salary coming in, and everything else I put into my savings account. And it's surprising how much you make over each month. Now some months I make £100, another month make £1,000, depending on how many sales I've done of my journals, depending on how many sales I've done of my card deck. It all. But when people say they haven't got any money, my comment is, well, what are you doing about it? Are you going out there to manifest more? And this is what this is all about. Oh, card, dreams. And this is where it is up until now, it's been thinking about, sorry, it's getting dark with that shut. So I don't know how to do that, but we'll just leave it. It will go dark. Okay. So what is it that you dream about? And one of the most commonest stories that people tell me that why they don't go for their dreams is lack of money. But if you really want it, you will find your way around getting that, because there's more than one way of looking at things. And this is what the month of July is all about. July is the 7th month. It's the month of magic. It's the month of all the work you've been doing between now and June is now coming to fruition. And if you've been following me and doing the work, especially the last couple of months, and doing everything I've been talking about, you'd be in the same situation as I, bringing in the money, which then you can be starting to bring in your dreams, if that is the reason that's holding you back. What is another reason you want to hold back? Well, I want to go for this job, but I haven't got the qualifications. There is no excuse these days for not getting the qualifications. There's night school, there's schools online, there's schools, you know, you can do during the day or whatever. There's I've got a girl, and she goes to she does a university degree, and it's up in London, and it's on a Saturday, her course. She chooses to do it on a Saturday, so she works during the week, and she's choosing to do this. She's doing accountancy or something like that, because she's got this dream. Oh, it's business studies, because she wants to study business. So it's like she's got a dream, and she's working for it in her spare time. And it's like she's been listening, and she's putting things into action, and now things are beginning to manifest. 7. The 7th month, and I'm looking forward to the 7th of the 7th. Oh, it's as good as the 8th of the 8th. You know, the Lionsgate is the 8th of the 8th, but the 7th of the 7th. So we've got 6 days before the portal of the 7/7. So This month, I'm talking about no more stagnation. Now is the time to stop whinging and moaning. And I'm going to ask you, what is it that you complain about the most? Is it, I'm too fat, I'm not healthy enough, life is boring, life is dull, I haven't got the perfect person in my life, I've got a terrible job, or I hate my job, I don't like my car? What is it that you're constantly complaining about and you want to change? And I'm going to challenge you that if you want a better job, a relationship where someone loves you, you want more money, I challenge you to work with me in the next couple of weeks as a one-to-one, and we will get that dream you get out of your elephant manure, and we're going to stop that stagnation and get it going. But it's down to you to choose. You've got the choice to stay where you are and whinge and moan, and people go, oh, but you don't understand, you know, life is complicated, and that's bullshit. That is a story you are telling yourself why you're staying where you are. Oh, it's complicated, you don't understand. No, you're putting these obstacles on because you're scared, you're afraid, face everything and rise, of stepping out of your comfort zone and not going for your dreams. And you self-sabotage, and you put these ideas into your head. You know, life is complicated, that's why I can't go for my dream. Oh, you don't understand, I haven't got enough money, that's why I can't go for this. Oh, you don't understand, I'm in this relationship and I can't get out of it. Or you don't understand that when I always go for these sorts of people, and it's like, it's just a story you're telling yourself to keep yourself stagnated. Because and honestly, you know, if you're not happy, you're out of alignment of your mind, body and spirit. But are you really happy not being happy? You know, are you content? Because the reason why we stay where we are is because it's hard work. Well, it's not. Actually, it's very easy. And people go, oh, it's really hard work on this change. It's not, that's stories. That is another story you're telling yourself. It's hard work. It's not hard work if you've got the right mindset. Yes, I have ups and downs, and I get frustrated and I get annoyed and I get obstacles in my way, which is like I look at testing, and then sometimes the obstacle is there because it's there to send me off because I'm going down the wrong path, and the obstacle is going, you've forgotten where you're going, let's get you back, and we're going to put this obstacle in your way. But it's the mindset and learning to understand, because it's like, yes, Usain Bolt, you know, runner, Olympic runner who broke the record. Yes, he had a goal. I want to be in the Olympics and I want to win a goal. I want to break a record, whatever it was his goal was. And yes, some days he probably woke up and thought, oh, training. And some days he'd gone out and his mates were out drinking, and he'd go, no, I can't go drinking tonight because I've got to be up at 3 in the morning to do my training, and then I've got to go off to work and things like that. But he was focused and he had a reason why he was doing it. And yes, he may have found that some days it was really tough going because his body had had enough. But then it's like, what is my final goal? I want that Olympic goal. And because that his why was so big, he then put himself through that day of training, because if he didn't put himself through that day of training, he wouldn't have been breaking world records. And when you look at all these people and where they've gone, yeah, I've had days that's been frustrated, but then it's like, and then it's like, right, pick myself up and keep going, because I have a goal. If I didn't have this goal, I would still be living in elephant manure and my dream. And what is my dream? Well, I've got new dreams at the moment, I'm working on them. So this month, I challenge you that if you really want something, but the problem is when you're doing it and you're doing it on your own, it's so hard. It's not hard, because I'm not using that word, but what it is when you have an accountability buddy and someone who is supporting you on your journey, it is so much easier. And this is why people like Usain Bolt, they had a trainer, someone who trained them. This is why Peter Davis and Richard Branson and Sir Lord, they all have mentors who keep them accountable to keep them going. And this is why I've got my business manager, because on those days when I'm ready to chuck it all in, and it's like I said, we had our meeting yesterday with all of us all together, and they were all saying, you know, what are we doing this? And then she goes, I'm keeping you accountable. She said to me, what day this week do you? And I went, So I said, I'll go live on TikTok on Wednesday. Well, I actually did it yesterday. Does it mean I've got to go live again on Wednesday anyway? But she said, I'll keep you accountable. And this is what she does. Because I have this goal and a plan. Now, it doesn't matter to her whether I do it or not. She goes, if you do it, that's fine. If you don't do it, that's fine, because the only person's better. But because then it's like, actually, I've said I'm going to go live on TikTok. I've got to do it now. And accountability. Because I know at the end of the day, if I go live on TikTok, I'm getting a brand new audience, brand new people who discover who I am, people, clients, more money, if you know what I mean. And it's that accountability. So if you want to do something and you want to change, but you've got no perceived support from the family or your friends, because you suddenly go, you know what, I want to write a book. And your friends or your family go, what do you want to write a book for? I've had that when I wrote my card deck. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to try and climb Mount Kilimanjaro and raise £20,000? Why do you want to do that? I wouldn't want to do that. Why do you want to have this Ferrari? Oh, I wouldn't have a Ferrari. It costs a lot of money for insurance. It costs a lot of money for the petrol. It costs, yeah, and I will make sure, because I know that, and what I'm getting into, that I can afford to pay the insurance, I can afford to pay the money for the petrol, I can afford to, whatever it is, to run a Ferrari, you know, your MOT, your tax and things like that. You can afford, you make sure, if that's what you want, you make sure you've got the money to do it. That's your dream, and you take everything with it. And having someone with you, and it's not that I'm going to tell you what to do, because most of the times we all know what to do. I might give you a way of looking at things. And then we go, right, what do you want to do this week to take you a step forward? And it's your choice. You choose your plan of action. And this is whether you work with me or in your own life, and you go, right, this is what I want. And what can I do this week? And I'm going to choose to make sure I do it. Now, sometimes when we are surrounded by toxic people, the toxic negativity and of the environment we're in, if we're surrounded by naysayers, if we're surrounded by whatever, and you know, when people go, yeah, you start these things but you never finish. Well, it's because they knock you down. But having someone who you're accountable for, who on a Monday we go, right, what is your plan of action for this week to take you one step closer to get your dream? And you go, well, I think this week I will, like me, I will go live on TikTok because I want to expand my reach. I want to expand my reach. I think I've reached it on Facebook. Most people have. So I'm going to go somewhere to start building on that. So my accountability is right. Well, to do that, you need to go live and post every day on TikTok. So that is my accountability. So when I have my meeting on Friday, actually I'm not going around on Friday, but in theory she's going to message me and I go, what did you do? And I'll go, I have gone live and I have posted. And it's accountability. Now, if I don't go live and I don't post on there, it won't affect her life. But it's like, but I know it's going to do. So, but I have this. And then next week we'll have a plan on Monday. And she goes, right, what do we now do? What can we build on? Right, we do this, and this is what you could do. So I do that next week. And it's my accountability. And then on the Friday, have you done it? Yeah, and it's the accountability with someone who believes in you that helps you to get from the place of stagnation to achieving your dreams. Does anything make sense that I'm saying here? So what is your dream? Tell me, and if you're watching this back as #replay, tell me what your dream is. And maybe even share with the reason why you're not going ahead for it, or just say what your dream is. And then if you're ready to move from stagnation to taking action, because this is what it's all about. And if you watch back all my past posts that I've done for the last, in June and in May, about talking about where you are, stagnated, and now we're talking about moving on, because we're heading, because I don't want you to hit December, because we're halfway through, we've had 6 months of the year. We're now more than halfway through the year. Do you want, in another 6 months' time, to be still sitting there whinging and moaning? But maybe you enjoy that life of not having any money, that life of not being healthy, that life of, you know, feeling not good enough, that life of being lonely. And if you enjoy that, then don't do anything. But if you suddenly think, I don't want to be like that, do you want to be like where you are today? Do you want to be in that same position at the end of July or the end of August or in December in another 6 months. Because if you look back and see where you are in January and you now look at yourself now, are you in the same position? Are you still doing that same boring job? You're still surrounded by the toxic people. You still got no money. You still got that person in your life that's being a pain in the backside. You've still got whatever it is which you were whinging and moaning about in January, or you got overweight, or you're still drinking and still smoking. You said in January, I'm going to do this, going to... And here we are, 6 months later. Are you still in the same place? And my question is, if you are you happy? Or is it time to go, you know what, do I really want to be in the same position at the end of December? Really think about that. And it's a choice. It's your choice to decide, yeah, I'm going to stay in this elephant manure. I'm going to stay whinging and moaning. Yeah, I quite like this. And if that is, and that's your choice, that's fine. But then again, you've got a choice to do something about it. And then you've got the choice whether you try and do it on your own or you have an accountability buddy to help you. Because sometimes the reason why we start things and then we stop is because we don't have that accountability. We're surrounded by negative Debbie Downers, Neddy naysayers. People like to drag us down because they don't like us shining. They don't like us going for their dreams, because when we shine our light, it shows how dim and they're low vibration. Because when you start going for your dreams, your vibration rises. And this is when you're working with the law of attraction, law of manifesting, and we're creating things. It comes from a higher vibration. So, the dream. Do you want it? And if you do, and you've tried, and you perceive it as fail, first attempt in learning is fail, first attempt in learning, and fear is face everything and rise. Maybe it's because you were surrounded by the wrong people. The people who didn't want you to succeed. The people who made you feel you're not good enough or worthy enough, and people going, oh, you're on the diet, and then they try and encourage you, oh, I'm on a diet, I want to eat healthy, and then you go out and they go, oh, go on, it's just one cake, it's just one glass of wine, it's just one, I've had the main course, go on, have this dessert, and it's like, no, just to help me, encourage me to say, what is the healthy options I can go for, and encourage me, rather than you sitting there eating this, oh, look at you eating a salad. You go, actually, well done you. I think it's amazing that you're sticking with eating the salad and the healthy fruit. You want people like that in your life, and then you will achieve. You achieve your dreams. And if you really want it, it's time to seek out someone who can be your accountability buddy. Now, whether it's me or not someone else, or it's your best friend. But you tell them, I don't want anything negative, I want support. And there you go for it. Now, is there anyone watching here who would like a card? So the card for the collective is dreams. And that is really apt. It's the 1st of July. July is the 7th month. 7 is all about magic and merriment and bringing everything together, the sparkle and the love of life. The sun is shining here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's very hot, but it's warm and we're excited. Yes, it's that time of the season, summer. And people do want to get out and they go, yeah, I want this dream. I want to have holidays in the sun every year, but I can't afford it. Let's work on that dream. Oh, I'd love to have my camper van. I'd love to have this. I'd love to have that. Well, rather than start dreaming, let's start taking action, because July is the month of magic. It's the month of manifestation. It's the month of taking action. Does anything make sense? If you're still watching, I don't know who's watching or not, let me know. So we've had lots of people coming on. We've had lots of people coming on saying hello and disappearing. If you're here and you would like a card, let me know. Let me know in the notes if I've inspired you to take action. And if you're thinking, yeah, I do need someone to work with me, message me. And if you turn around and say to me, well, I'd love to, but I've seen how much it is. You know what? Nothing's set in stone. Nothing's set in cement. Nothing is. There's ways round it. Okay? And if you want, and you can't afford to work as a one-to-one, join my lives, because I'm full of tips and hints. Download I've got a couple of PDFs that's going up soon. one on about how to start on your finances. I've got another one in I've got a workbook coming up on calm, clarity and confidence, and I've got a few things coming out at the moment. And it's just like, if you can't afford to work on the one-to-one, which is £121, or you'd like to work with me for 3 months or 6 months, you know, that's £300 or 1,300, you know, and you haven't got the money, and that's okay. I get it. I totally get it. I have so many free resources available on my YouTube channel, all my lives, which are full of tips and hints and how to do it. They're all free on YouTube. So watch back all my YouTube channels. I think I've got over 4,000 videos on my YouTube channel, full of hints and tips. There's meditations, all sorts of things on there. So if you can't afford me, but you want hints and tips, watch some of my freebies, all my YouTube channels. It's there. It's over 4,000 videos there. I was having a look. It's amazing what's on there. Oh, yeah. Some of my videos have been watched over 6,000 times. You know, people watching certain videos because they're just so full of good information. So if you can't afford to work with me one-to-one, I do have free content which you're welcome to download. So hello Paul. So if you're looking for a reading, book one with me today. If you would like to have that, go for it and go, you know what, sod it, I'm going to invest myself, because it's not spending money. In the bigger picture, it's an investment in your future. And if you want to buy a Ferrari, how much is a Ferrari? I don't know, £500,000, and you're going to invest in that. Investing £121 now in order for you to work towards getting your Ferrari, which is £500, it's nothing. Investing in now that £120 to create your dream lifestyle, it's minuscule. But it's not what you're spending and what it's, oh, it costs too much. It's not costing anything. It is an investment. And are you ready to invest in yourself and in your future and in your dreams? Are you? Are you ready to invest in your dreams? And like I said, some people right at this very moment can't, you know, may not be able to afford it. But there's free videos on my YouTube channel on manifesting finance and things like that. So, and there's lots of free information out on Google, free courses at a nominal price. And if you're ready to invest, and don't look, money is a tool, money is an investment. It's not something to be hated or complain about or loathe. It's something exciting. It's something wonderful because it's a tool that you can use to invest, which brings you your dreams into reality. Let me know if what I'm speaking about makes sense. I hope it does make sense to you. Let me know, let me know. And if you're ready, and I've sort of like, yeah, and it's July the 1st, let's get going. Message me. You can message me, or I will put a link to my website and follow and go and have a look on my website. Message me or go ahead and buy stuff, whatever it is. And let's get manifesting. It's a magical month. And I can't wait to see what we all get manifested in this month. Let's make the next 6 months brilliant. Thank you for watching me. My name's Julie-Sian. I'm known as the Manifesting Mentor Queen, and I'm an internationally renowned intuitive card reader. I'm the creator of Reiki Teddy, and the creator of the card deck Element of Fairy affirmation cards, and the author of 2 books at the moment, Lunar Reflections and the Have You Made Your Bed? The Art of Action to Manifest Your Dream Life. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and hopefully I will join you on Thursday for possibly Tarot Thursday, and maybe we'll do some individual card readings then. Take care. Namaste.